Here are the tests on my 1990 Peerless toilet. It is set to the water line and it is using a standard flapper. So I will give this toilet a flush and see how it does on tests. Also, if you guys see something like this in a tank where it has the first initial and then a last name, that would be the inspector who inspected this toilet and made sure that it met their quality standards. This toilet had some minerals in the rim jets, and I cleaned all of that out. For some reason it still seems weak, and I'm not expecting much, but we'll see once the tests are done if this toilet meets the right criteria for selling. Obviously I won't sell it because it's cracked, but let's see if it's any good. For the first test, let's see if it can take a washcloth. The glaze on this toilet is in very good condition and it has no mineral buildup. I do not know why dirt keeps coming out of it, but every time I flush it, more dirt just appears in it. So hopefully that won't affect the performance. It should do just fine on a washcloth. As expected, it did perfectly. Now let's see if it can take a grocery bag. Honestly, I think we'll both find out whether or not it can take it, and I don't have any predictions. It didn't slow the flush down. It looked like it struggled, but I don't think it did, so I will call that a perfect pass. Now, let's see if it can take the washcloth and the grocery bag together. This toilet just has a slow and weak flush in general, and I don't think the trapway opening is big enough, so I'm thinking it will clog and I'll have to pull it out. It didn't even try. That's sad. I'm gonna give that another flush once the tank refills. You know, this reminds me a lot of that Murray Savoy that I have. That elongated one from 1984 or whatever. It had very little power to the flush and the siphon was very weak. But it seemed to be alright. Pretty average, but just not really that good. It'll still clog without doubt. It just has no suction power whatsoever. Here comes the rest of the dirt. I don't know where it all is coming from, but more of it comes out every time I mess with the flapper. I'm going to wait for the tank to refill and it'll probably unclog itself. Did you see how close that was to overflowing? That was honestly an impressive save. I think I've only ever seen one other toilet come that close to overflowing, but take it. Now let's see if it can take a dish towel. And I'm going to be using my old dish towel because I don't think there's any chance it will take the new one. It's the same as the new one, but worn out. Really? And it didn't even siphon. I'm going to flush it again, and I'm going to hold it so that it angles correctly and see if it can fit through the trapway. This one and the Murray Savoy would honestly be really interesting to see on mid-tanks, but I don't have a mid-tank set up, so I'm just going to do this and then see how they flush on high tanks. Yeah, I don't think it's even a good idea trying to make this go through, because then I'm just going to have a dish towel stuck in the trapway and I'm going to have to find some way to get it out. So overall, the performance on this toilet is pretty bad, to be completely honest. I don't know if there's something wrong with it or if it's just not a good design, but I would take it easily over the 1992 Peerless Hancock that I have. That thing is complete garbage. So, oh geez, a bug just landed in the palm of my hand and startled me. But anyway, yeah, this toilet's really not very good as a performer. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the flush tests. And for the first flush test, I am going to see how it flushes with a dry bowl. But of course, I have to dry the bowl first, so I will be right back. The flush is about enough to refill the bowl. Actually, it's more than enough to refill the bowl after it siphons, so I think that it'll flush pretty well. Wow, that was depressing. So it flushes, it goes down and it siphons, and then it refills the bowl back to the water line when the bowl has the correct amount of water in it. But then if I flush it on a dry bowl, instead of refilling all the way and then siphoning like normal, it just refills and stops. That's kind of odd and definitely not what I was expecting. When I tested my 1950s Kohler Trent, it flushed perfectly with a dry bowl, and it was the same scenario. It flushed out, refilled the bowl, and then the flapper closed. But with this one, I don't know why it's having issues. So anyway, I am going to see if it can take dirt now. This is going to be depressing. I already know it. Let's just hope for the best. Yeah, it definitely doesn't have the perfect flush. It looks like it just left heavy stuff, honestly. The rinse is not bad. The jets are few and far between, but they are angled very well, so it covers the bowl. That's pretty good bowl rinse, actually. I'm not gonna lie there. I was not expecting it to be that good, but the clearance obviously could be better. So anyway, I'm gonna give this one last flush to try and get the rest out. I think I'm gonna hand plunge it while it's flushing because it doesn't have enough strength to get those rocks over the trapway. So I am just going to help it. Even then, it still couldn't do it, but that is all for this video. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe and turn on notifications. It helps my channel a lot and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.